This is going to sound crazy, but if you drive a modern car with an automatic transmission, you are leaving insane amounts of speed and responsiveness on the table. And here is the bigger shocker. In almost every real-world situation, you can actually shift your automatic transmission faster than any person with a manual can. If you know this one secret that manufacturers don't teach you, stop trying to paddle shift like a race car driver, and definitely stop thinking your manual buddy is faster. Because by the end of this video, you are going to understand how to make your daily driver automatic feel like a completely different machine. Intro, the big lie. For years, we've been told the same story. Manual transmissions are for performance, they are for control, and they are the fastest way to drive. And look, 20 years ago, that was mostly true, but things have changed a lot. Modern automatics, we're talking about those complex boxes with 8, 9, even 10 speeds, are fundamentally faster and smarter than you are, and yes, they are faster than me too. The lie isn't that manuals are fun, they absolutely are. The lie is that you, the driver, are in control of the automatic. You are, but you're probably controlling it wrong. You've got buttons, you've got paddles, you've got a sport mode. But what if I told you the fastest way to shift it has nothing to do with any of those buttons? You're about to learn what the pros call the predictive shift, and why it's the only way to drive your automatic aggressively. Introduce the problem challenge, the lag myth. So here's the problem we are all facing. We want to accelerate, right? We floor the gas pedal. And what happens? There's a delay, a moment where the engine revs, maybe the transmission kicks down one gear, then it thinks for a second, maybe kicks down another gear, and then finally, you get the speed you wanted. This frustrating delay, this lag, is what makes us feel disconnected from the car. It's why people keep saying automatics are slow. But the car isn't actually slow, it's confused. See, your modern automatic transmission is controlled by a computer, the Transmission Control Unit, or TCU. The TCU's number one job isn't to make you happy or make you fast. Its job is to save gas and protect the gearbox from damage. So the moment you stomp on the gas, the TCU has to run through a checklist. How fast is the car going? What gear am I in right now? How hard is the driver pressing the pedal? Do I need to downshift 1, 2, or 3 gears? Is the engine hot enough to handle this sudden load? All of that takes time. Not a lot, but enough, maybe half a second. But in performance driving, half a second is forever. If you are merging onto a highway, trying to overtake, or just hitting a tight corner, that half-second delay can ruin your momentum. And that's the challenge. We need to find a way to get the TCU to skip the checklist and execute the shift before we even need it. We need to trick the computer. Exploration development. Understanding the brain of the automatic. To trick the TCU, you need to understand how it thinks. The TCU works based on simple inputs: throttle position sensor, how far down is the gas pedal, vehicle speed sensor, and engine RPM. When you use sport mode, you are telling the computer, hey, don't worry about gas mileage anymore. Hold the gears longer and shift quicker. That helps, but it doesn't solve the lag problem. When you use the paddle shifters, you are sending a direct command like, shift down 1 gear now, but even a direct command takes time to process and execute. Plus, if you command a downshift when the RPM is too high, the TCU simply ignores you to protect the engine, and then you are really stuck. The secret I'm talking about, the predictive shift, isn't about forcing the shift with a button. It's about setting the scene for the shift so the TCU has already prepared the next gear before you ask for it. Think about it like this. Your manual transmission buddy has to physically move the gear lever, push the clutch, let the clutch out, and then get back on the gas. That whole process takes a skilled driver maybe 400 to 500 milliseconds. A modern dual-clutch transmission, DCT, or even a very good torque converter automatic, can execute a shift in under 100 milliseconds, or even less than 50 milliseconds in the highest-end sports cars. The hardware is faster. The problem is the input from the driver. The predictive shift technique is all about modulating the throttle, the gas pedal, in a very specific, counterintuitive way, especially before an upshift or a downshift. The downshift secret, preloading the throttle. This is where the magic happens, and it's especially useful when approaching a corner or preparing to overtake. Most people approach a corner, lift off the gas, brake, turn, and then halfway through the turn they stomp on the gas to exit. That stomp is what causes the lag because the TCU has been chilling out in a high fuel-saving gear, and now you've suddenly asked it to do heavy lifting. The predictive way is different. As you are braking and approaching the corner, you don't completely lift off the throttle. You keep a tiny, consistent amount of gas applied. Let's call it about 5% throttle. It's just enough to keep the car from feeling like you are coasting, but not enough to maintain speed. Now here's the key. Right before you plan to turn in and absolutely need the power, you give the gas pedal a quick, firm stab, maybe to 30% throttle, and then you immediately lift off the pedal again, all while still braking. This whole process takes maybe a quarter of a second. What did you just do? You told the TCU, hey, something is about to happen, get ready for power. The computer, seeing that sudden spike in throttle input, assumes you are about to accelerate and mentally prepares the downshift. The hydraulic pressure is built up, the clutches or bands are readied, and the shift is preloaded. Now, when you finally hit the gas pedal to exit the corner, the shift has already been prepared, and the transmission drops down instantly, giving you power the moment you ask for it, eliminating that horrible, slow delay. It's the closest you will ever get to feeling like a professional DCT racer. You can actually practice this on a straight road. Accelerate normally in a high gear, say 5th or 6th. Stab the gas quickly and let go. You'll hear the engine rev slightly, but the shift will be prepared. The next time you press the gas, the shift will be instantaneous. It's incredible. The upshift secret: momentum management. Upshifts in automatics are generally faster than downshifts, especially under full throttle. But there's still a way to optimize them, particularly when you're driving aggressively, but not flat out. When you are accelerating hard in a manual, you lift off the gas completely for a fraction of a second when you clutch in, shift, and then get back on the gas. That brief lift gives the synchros a moment to match the speed of the gears. In an automatic, especially a torque converter type, you can use the same principle but in a smarter way. If you want the shift to be lightning fast at, say, 70% throttle, you don't hold 70% all the way through the gear change. Right before the RPM hits the point where the transmission would normally shift, you ease back on the throttle by about 10–20% for just a moment, a gentle feathering, and then push it back to 70%. What does this accomplish? Reduces torque. The momentary ease in throttle input slightly reduces the torque going through the transmission, which lessens the load on the clutch packs or bands, allowing the shift to happen much more smoothly and quickly. Confirms the intent. You're confirming to the TCU that you still want to upshift, but you're giving it a clean window to execute the swap without heavy pressure. It's counterintuitive because you feel like backing off the gas slows you down. But that smooth, fast shift, done at the perfect moment, maintains momentum better than a slower, harsher shift done under max load. In the end, the car is faster through the gears. Climax key moment, putting it all together, the cornering masterclass. Let's combine these ideas and apply them to the perfect cornering scenario. This is the difference between a frustrating, laggy exit and a powerful, manual-beating launch out of the curve. Imagine you are driving down a road and you see a tight right-hand corner coming up. Scenario A: the normal driver, slow and laggy. Approach: hold steady throttle in 6th gear. Braking, lifts off gas completely, slams on the brakes. The car is now coasting in a high gear. The engine RPM is low. Turn in, turns the wheel. Exit, floors the gas pedal. Lag, the TCU has to downshift from 6th to 3rd. That takes time. The car hesitates and then finally accelerates. Momentum is killed. Scenario B: the predictive shifter, fast and responsive. Approach: hold steady throttle in 6th gear. Braking and preload, starts braking. While braking, keeps 5% throttle applied. As they get close to the ideal downshift point, before the turn-in, they do the firm, quick stab to 30% throttle and immediately return to 5% throttle. The TCU is now ready for a downshift to 3rd. Turn in, turns the wheel. The car is already in or about to drop into the lower correct gear, 3rd. Exit. The second the driver straightens the wheel and needs power, they floor the gas. Instant power. The downshift was already prepared and executed, and the car launches out of the corner instantly, just like a well-driven manual. This difference in technique is why some people complain that their automatic car feels sluggish, and others say the exact same car feels like a rocket. It's not the car. It's the driver's communication with the transmission. You are essentially learning the timing of the TCU and beating it to the punch. You are sending the command to prepare to downshift while you are still slowing down, ensuring the execute shift command when you finally floor the gas is acted upon immediately. Now a quick note on paddle shifters. Does this mean you should never use them? No, but use them as a backup, not the primary input. The only time paddle shifters are truly better is in a very specific, technical situation where you know exactly which gear you need for a specific corner and you need to lock the transmission there. But for general aggressive driving, the predictive throttle method is smoother, faster, and gives the TCU less chance to override your inputs because it thinks you are making a mistake. The key is communicating intent, and the throttle pedal is the TCU's primary language. You can think of this as a dance between the driver's foot and the car's computer. You are stepping on its toes and then apologizing with a quick lift, which the computer interprets as, okay, he's serious, I need to obey. This takes practice, but once you get the timing down, the car's response becomes almost telepathic. It's the difference between driving the car and truly mastering the automatic transmission. This principle works because the computer is designed to be reactive, and you are forcing it to be proactive. This technique is even more important in modern, highly efficient automatics. These transmissions have so many gears, like 8, 9, or 10 speeds, that they love to sit in the highest possible gear to save fuel. When you floor it, they might have to drop 4 gears. That takes a huge chunk of time. But by using the predictive throttle stab while braking, you force it to get halfway through that 4-gear drop before you even ask for the power, cutting your lag time in half or more. It's the ultimate hack. Conclusion summary, the mindset shift. So here's what you need to take away from this. Stop driving your automatic car like it's slow. The transmission itself is a technological marvel that can shift faster than any human being. The lag you feel isn't a mechanical problem, it's a communication problem. The solution is the predictive shift. For downshifts, approaching a corner overtake. As you are braking, maintain a light, constant throttle. Just before the moment you need power, give the gas pedal a quick, firm stab and release. This preloads the transmission so when you eventually floor it, the gear is already engaged. For upshifts, aggressive acceleration. Just before the shift point, ease off the gas slightly and immediately reapply the power. This gives the transmission a clean window to execute a smooth, torque-free shift, maintaining better momentum. Mastering this technique will completely change how you feel about your car. It will feel more connected, more responsive, and yes, in real-world driving, it will make you faster than your manual driving friends who are wrestling with clutches and shift gates. Call to action, subscribe so you don't miss the next Car Secrets video.